Hey, Mike Caton from acemethodcoaching here for another show where I'm going to analyze hurdle technique from 5 people who've sent me their videos. If you're new here, let me tell you the way this works. I have a business called Ace Method Coaching where I provide hurdle training plans, instructional videos for beginners, intermediates, and advanced. I also do online coaching. That is where people send me their videos. They send me any questions they have, any concerns, what they want me to look for. And I dig deep into it, find a solution for them, and then send them a video back with me talking, explaining what they need to do. But I also have some free things that I offer. One is a hurdle technique cheat sheet. The other is for a chance to get a free analysis. So what you're seeing here is the 5 that I've chosen, because each week of the ones that I get, I choose 5 and I do them live on this show, just so people see what I do. But just know that what you're going to see here is a simple version of what I call a virtual coaching session. A virtual coaching session is much deeper than what you see here. I'll spend 20, 30, 40 minutes with somebody and their videos. We're on here, it's maybe 5 minutes per video, just quick stuff. So if you want a really, really good coaching session, go to my website, acemethodcoaching.com, and you'll see a link for a virtual coaching session, and you can do that. But before I do that, and by the way, so if you're watching here, just know that you can't send it in today and get me to review it today. It's a process. But if you do have a question, feel free to leave a question in the chat. And when I finish talking about those 5 videos, I'll come and see what we have there. But speaking of asking me questions, I'm excited to introduce something. I created something new, and I'm finally going to show it to somebody, to you. Because I do get a lot of questions, especially during the season. And to prepare for it, I discovered something. So you've probably heard of artificial intelligence. Pretty much everybody has, AI. And you possibly have heard of ChatGPT, which is the most popular of all the AI platforms out there. And that's where you can go and get things created, ask questions, things like that. And it's really amazing. Well, there's something called a custom GPT, and that's what I'm going to explain. I'm going to give you an example of a custom GPT. So what I did is I created a custom GPT. I'm going to show this to you real quick. Let me change my view. Let me go here. So here we are in ChatGPT, but this is actually my own custom GPT. It's called Coach Ace GPT. So let me explain to you how this works, because I think these things will be more common as time goes on. But right now, if you go to any GPT or any AI and you ask it a question, it is just searching through the entire internet to find answers for you. Sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's not so good stuff. A custom GPT, like I'm going to show you here, is what I took all of my information, all of my videos, all of my articles, all my emails, everything, commonly asked questions, and I put all of that into the GPT. So it is basically everything from my brain and everything that I've ever done on ACE put into here. So you can go to it and you can ask it a question. It's like asking me a question, but it's actually better than asking me a question because I'm human. I get lazy. I don't like typing. So sometimes I give very short answers. But my GPT is me on steroids. It is me on the best day, not forgetting anything and giving amazing quality answers. So I'm recommending that you go here. If you have any hurdling questions at all, go here and try it. And let me tell you how to get here. if you go to my website, let me show this to you. And just so you know, this is just a temporary cartoon. I'm not going to keep this. I cannot yet find a good place to get a cartoon that actually looks like me to put on here. So if anybody knows, let me know. acemethodcoaching@gmail.com. But if you go here, unfortunately, I couldn't put my GPT on here. You have to link out to go to it. And so if you go here and you read this, it'll say here, go to my Coach Ace GPT. So if you click here, it'll take you to my GPT. So this is the landing page of my website, Ace Method Coaching. This link out will go to my GPT. So I'm encouraging you, basically, I am, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. I am deputizing you as a beta tester, okay? So literally, I haven't promoted this at all. This is the first time I'm doing this. So go there, try it, tell me what you think. Like, go to my email after this. There's a link to my email, and tell me what you thought. But just so you'll know, this right here is not my GPT. This is just a chat bot. It's not bad, but it's a lesser version of my GPT. So you can ask it questions and get some answers, but it's much better at the other one. So try them out. Let me know what you think. I'm always looking for input, and I'd love to know before I start really promoting this. Nobody wants to get embarrassed. So that's what I'd like you to do. Okay. Or I'm asking you to do. Another thing, this has been a huge week or two with the Olympics. Let me tell you what happened, and so you know what also is coming up. I reviewed Olympics videos and did analysis of races, and I had a ton of issues. How do I explain this? Prior to at World Championships and the last Olympics, I reviewed videos as well, and I did have minor issues dealing with trademark violations at YouTube, but I've figured out how to do it. I tried the same thing this year, and I don't know if YouTube is stricter, NBC is stricter, or what, but I got dinged, and it was really, really hard. Took me first time 2 days of redoing the video to finally get it to a version that would work. And then I had to redo my video. So a ton of work went into this. And one that was really interesting, I put a video out analyzing the women's 400 meter hurdles with Sydney McLaughlin and Femke Bol racing. And it just took off. Like no video I've ever done. It had about 20,000 views. It was in a 12-hour period, and it was just going. And then YouTube blocked it. And so it took me a few days to redo it more with still photos. And it's doing pretty well. It's probably at around 18,000 now, but it's taken like 4 days to get there versus what it did in 12 hours before. But anyway, so please give that some love. And also I've got another video coming out tomorrow or Sunday that I'm doing for the men's 400 meter hurdles at the Olympics. And then depending on how that does, I already have another video made for the women's 100 meter hurdles at the Olympics. And then I've got some other ones coming out. And if you have any ideas of things you'd like to see related to the Olympics, I'm going to do that. I've got some ideas in my head, and I'll talk about that. So anyway, so that's the latest with Ace Method Coaching for those of you who follow. But now I'm going to bounce out. I'm going to review these 5 videos from this week. And by the way, it's slow right now. This is the slowest I've seen it in a long time. So this is a good time. If you have been wanting me to review one of your videos, now's a good chance that I'll be able to do it next week. So just letting you know that. Okay. Where am I? Okay, let me go here. Screen capture. All right, 5 videos. This first person's name, I believe, is Abdul Qadir. He sent me 2 videos. I'm just going to look at one of them. Abdul Qadir is in the 9th grade. He is a first-year hurdler, and he wants some help, like with his arms. Overall, he wants some overall advice, but also specifically he knows his arms aren't right, and his foot strike on the ground he's not happy with. So let's check this out. So he's the guy winning this race. Okay, so not bad, especially for 9th grader, first year doing this, and the 2 races I've seen, you win the race. So overall, you're doing well. But, okay, so I like to start with the good stuff. The good stuff is you're doing well. You've got a lot figured out. I'm impressed with how easily you are 3-stepping as a 9th grader. But let me show you some things that I noticed. The big first thing that pops out to me is how far you're landing on the backside of the hurdle. Okay? Way over here. In fact, you are probably landing as far on the backside as you took off on the front side, right? That's way too long in the air. So that's number 1, too long in the air. I'm just going to try to point out 3 things. The other thing that I'm noticing, okay, so before I move on, hopefully you know the more you're in the air, the slower you're going to be, okay? Because that is not fast. That's floating time. And the more you're in the air, I said that. But also know that means the higher you're going to be. So that means you have to wait to come down, and then you have the gravity pulling you into the track. All that slows you down. Now, also when I watch you run, you are taking big steps and reaching out and landing on your heels. Running like that is not the fastest way to run between hurdles. I understand that you're trying to get to the next hurdle in 3 steps, but you would be better off if you ran like a good sprinter. You get up tall, get your feet underneath you, strike the ground on the balls of your feet, and turn over quicker. So rely on your speed getting you to the next hurdle, not on long, slow steps getting over the next hurdle. Okay? That's 2 things. I'm going to find one more thing. Also, see how you're squatted down here? You don't want to do that. You want to get up tall. Okay? I'm not going to count that one. Okay. I like the way you're moving your lead leg. But the fact that you're too close to the hurdle and you're coming up on the hurdle, the way you look right here is the way you should have looked about 1.5 to 2 feet back. Okay? When your heel gets to this hurdle, it should be on its way down, but yours is still on its way up because you were too close to that hurdle. Okay? And I really do think that a lot of your other issues will correct once you spend less time in the air. Because when you float in the air, lots of crazy things are going to happen with your upper body just to give you balance so that you don't fall when you land. So just know that, okay? Moving on, Caleb. Caleb, 7th grade. This is my young guy today. First year hurdling. He wins this race. He's trying to go lower over the hurdle. Okay, so he's this guy right here. I just want to, he says yellow uni. This guy's got a, let me real quick, let me check something. Yellow uniform, blue shorts, white and pink spikes, and he wins the race. Okay, so that's him. That's kind of orange, don't you think? Okay, so let's go back and look at it in full speed. It's a cool uniform, by the way. Okay, and by the way, all three of these boys are good, really good for 7th grade. I mean, it's great that you have such good competition to compete against, because these guys are going to make you better. And I admire the way that you held it together, because right here, coming off this hurdle, you look like, well, I think no, you're near the front. I mean, really working it. This guy's really styling it, huh? With his sunglasses and his headband and his spandex uniform, singlet. But you beat him. Okay, so let me show you what needs work. This definitely looks like some summer track stuff going on. Okay, I'm going to start from here. I like your lead leg tucked up there. This looks really good. Driving your knee towards the top of the hurdle. Great job. Your arms are in the right spot. But, okay, so here you are at the moment where your heel is on top of the bar. And if you've seen my other videos, you'll know that at this point, let's say right here, at this point is where your leg should be almost straight. And it kind of is, so it's not bad. But you're too high, right? Like you never, like see the angle of your knee pointing towards the hurdle? It should stay there, but you see how it goes up after that point? You should have just kept it forward. It's forward. So this is making, you're driving your knee up. You need to drive your knee forward to stay lower. The other is you have your left arm going forward like it should. Your right arm is supposed to go back, right? You're kind of holding it out like Grant Holloway. And if you've seen my video, that's not a good idea. Grant Holloway holds his trail arm forward because he has a hard time he gets to the next hurdle so quickly that he has to figure out a way to slow down off that hurdle and bring his lead leg down quickly. You're not going to have that problem, not for a long time, right? So swing your arms how they're naturally supposed to go. And the other is drive your knee forward and not up. And then, yeah, your arms are all over the place, bro. Your trail leg is underneath you, and it shouldn't be there. It should be out to the side. And this is the other reason why you're too high over the hurdle. One is because you're driving up, but the other is you might be driving up because you subconsciously know that you tend to leave your trail leg underneath you, and so you have to go high enough to get over that hurdle so your trail leg doesn't hit. So bring your trail leg around from the side. That'll help you stay lower. So drive your knee forward, bring the trail leg around from the side, and then keep your arms in tight and swing them properly the way they're supposed to. And I think that'll make a big difference. Okay, good job, Caleb. Jose is going to make me work because he is a 300 hurdler. And let me see. He wins this race, so he's in lane 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here he is right here. I'm going to slow it down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Okay. So you took 25 steps to the first hurdle, and the last 4 to 5 of them were chop steps. Okay? So, by the way, Jose is in the 10th grade. Okay, so I'll tell you what. Let me put this into perspective before I start getting into here. So notice this. Jose is winning this race. So on one hand, you might be thinking, hey, he's doing great. Don't pick on him. But I'm going to pick on you, Jose. I'll tell you why. Because I think you want me to. I think you want to get better, or you wouldn't have reached out to me. You look like somebody who takes this race seriously, and you're already going into the 10th grade, so it's time to take this more seriously. And yeah, he's beating these other guys, but these are all freshmen. I mean, what he's doing here would not fly against really good competition who are juniors and seniors. So now let's talk about how to go from where you are right now, which is a good freshman, making freshman mistakes, and learning how to be a good varsity guy. Okay? So that's where I'm going with my perspective. And what I'm going to tell you, Jose, is taking 25 steps to the first hurdle is too many. Good girls take 24 steps to the first hurdle. Boys usually take 22 steps to the first hurdle. You took 25, and 4 to 5 of them were chopping steps, slowing down, losing your speed. So what I would do is figure out what leg you want to go over this hurdle with. Let's figure that out. And it is you seem to want to go with your right leg. So you need to have your left leg forward in the blocks. And you need to do either 22 steps or switch your legs in the blocks and do 23 steps. And if you need to, go back to your left leg forward in the blocks and do 24. But if you take some really good stride, I think you'll do just fine, okay? But not what you just did here. Okay, let's talk about the rest. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, 17 steps to the hurdle, and 4 of them were chopping steps, okay? What I think you need to do, you seem to want to go over with your right leg. Totally fine. Let's think about this. If you do what I say, and you hit that first hurdle fast with 22 or 23 steps, you're going to have a lot more speed coming off that hurdle. Why? Because you didn't chop at the first hurdle anymore. So you come off that hurdle fast. So you have more. So right here, you lost your speed going over the first hurdle. So that's the reason why you had to take 17 steps to the other hurdle, because you gave up your speed on the first hurdle. Then you gave up your speed on the second hurdle. Then you do it on every single hurdle. You stutter, okay? So what you need to do is stop doing this. Hit that first hurdle fast and commit. I'm going to go 15 steps to hurdle 2. And I think you can do it. It's going to be fast, and it's going to be slightly bigger steps. But I believe you can do it. And you'll still hit it with your right leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, now that one was better, but still a little stuttery, not as much. And you might be wondering why. That's because he's starting to get tired. Okay, so his steps are naturally getting shorter. So here's where I can't tell you exactly all your steps, because you're going to get older, you're going to get stronger, and maybe even taller going into next year. And so these things will change. But just know that in general, if you ever have to stutter at a hurdle, that means you need to take less steps. Okay? And if you can take 2 less steps, and you can stay on the leg you want to. But what you should also do is you should learn how to go over also with your left leg. So you should spend this off season. If you're a serious 300-meter hurdler, you need to do it. All the good ones that I've coached are, and all in the off season, it's practicing alternating legs or just their non-dominant, so they can go with whatever leg is there and stop stuttering. Because you probably need to do about 15 steps to the first hurdle, maybe 15 steps to the second hurdle because you have more speed without all the stuttering. But then you probably at some point need to shift to 16 steps for 1 or 2 hurdles, which means you need to change to your left leg for 1 hurdle. And then by then you'll be a little bit tired, and then you can just do 17 steps all the way to the finish line. And you'll be a ton faster than what you're doing here, because this is all the chopping that you're doing. It's like you're doing all this great running in between the hurdle. Oh, that was good you didn't chop. Let's see what your steps were there. So forgive me, I thought it was every hurdle, but it's not. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so 17 is now working once you get to hurdle 4, 5, 6, because you're fatigued. But 17 was too many at the beginning of the race when you were fresh. So at the beginning of the race, take advantage of it, remove 1 to 2 steps. That's how this game is played. 1, 2, 3. See, looking good. 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, good. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, good. So, put it this way. That was really good. But had you not chopped the first hurdle, second hurdle, third hurdle, you would have had more energy at the end, and you would have been able to do this no problem. So, keep in mind, you're going to do less steps to the first hurdle, probably 15 to 16 steps to the hurdle 2 and hurdle 3, and then 17. They're all the way home. Keep in mind what your goal should be is you do that at the beginning of the season, and as every week goes on, you try to keep increasing how many hurdles you can do with 16 or 15 steps. And as you get more in shape, you'll be able to go farther. So hopefully by the end of the season, you're doing 15, 16 steps all the way to the finish line and never have to go to 17. It takes a while to get there, so build into it slowly. Okay, Keandre, 10th grade, second year hurdling. Uh-oh, your video isn't working. Oh, darn it. Okay, sorry about that. I'm going to have to... There's literally nothing that I can do at this point to fix it. You know, I did notice it was sideways when I looked at it from the file you sent me. Usually that's not a problem on here, and I can rotate it. But for some reason, I mean, as you see here, I just have a black screen. So, sorry, bro. Send me another video. Okay, Ranja. Ranja is second year hurdler. In general, wants to get faster. Feels like her challenge is running between the hurdles and her lead leg. Something tells me this isn't the US, but I'm not. Just because of how many lanes there are. You just don't usually see that at US tracks. Okay, so overall, Ranja, really good. Really good. I mean, you just flew over these with very little hesitation. The more I look at it, the more I like it. I don't know what your spacing is, though. That's another thing that I thought was different about this track is I don't see hurdle marks anywhere. So something just seems different. So here's what I will say. I'm gonna see. I don't really know. Oh, actually, this looks like hurdle marks here, which tells me that you haven't pinched in a little bit, which is great. Okay, there's hurdle marks here. Okay, the track is just really faded, like it needs a new layer and new paint on. Okay, so what I think is you are working with pinched hurdles or reduced spaces, so that's great. Let's see what we see when I put you in slow motion, because that changes everything. Okay, so the one thing that I see is interesting is even with the reduced spacing, thing is, you didn't tell me how old you were. You just said second year hurdler. But I want you to notice that you're running between the hurdles. See how the landing on the heels, stretching out. And then the last one, big time, foot out in front of you. Your foot should be bent and should be about right here underneath your body, but you have yours out here. So that is sticking it out, putting on the brakes. Okay, this is what we call a positive shin angle right here. So that's jabbing into the track. Okay, and you always want all of your steps to come backwards into the track, or at worst, have your shin straight up and down so it's at least not jabbing. Okay? But the fact that you have it pinched and you're still having to reach to get there in 3 steps makes me wonder, and I don't have enough information to know why that's happening. But let's look at you going over the hurdle. I like your heel tucked to your butt. That overall is a pretty good look, but I see a couple things. It looks like, that your lead arm, your hand is across the midline of your body. And I also can see that even though I like the angle of your thigh, that it's pointed at the hurdle, I can see that your hip is rotated in and your foot is pointed out towards the track. See? So it's going to swing around clockwise, which is the reason why your arm is going across your body like that. It's to counter. So one thing you need to do is practice, break that habit, and swing that lead leg forward versus around. Okay, that's going to mess with your balance. Also, I mean, even though this position is great, I'm trying to figure out why you ended so high. That's high. That's just too high on the hurdle. Okay, I do like this, and for anybody who's watching, this is great. Look how far away Ranja is from the hurdle. She reaches, well, if everything went well, she would have reached the peak of her jump right here and then come down on the hurdle. But she went too high on the hurdle. And she reached her peak right here. She still, though, did a really great job of snapping that leg down. And that's because she brings her trail leg through really nicely and her hips come with it. And that makes her lead leg drop down really quickly. So Ranja, all that is great, but it would have been better if you were lower on the hurdle. Okay, so the distance to the hurdle, the angle is good. Practice going straight forward versus up, so you'd be lower. And if you do that, I think it's going to change everything. Also, your knee doesn't need to go this high. This is the way a boy would be with a tall, high hurdle in high school or a man in college. Girls don't need to bring it higher than the top of the hurdle. Okay? So when you get here, your thighs should be parallel to the ground, not coming up at an angle like this. Also, your arms are a bit too open. Not bad though. Not bad. I would still tighten up that lead arm. Keep your hips, shoulders square. Bring your arm straight forward and pull it back. I think you'll do much better. So in summary, I would work on striking the ground on the balls of your feet underneath you to go faster. Part of the reason why you're having a hard time getting to the next hurdle is because you're going too high on the hurdle. So I would work with some, I think that this is one of those hurdles that goes up and down, swings, I think, when I look at the base of it. So take advantage of that. Practice hitting it with your heel or something. Practice going low. You'll be faster coming off that hurdle, so you won't have such a hard time getting to the next hurdle on time. But to answer your question, I think the openness of your lead leg is okay. You could probably open it a little bit more, but it's pretty good. I think you're moving your trail leg really nicely too. It doesn't need to come up so high like that. And yeah, I think I addressed all your questions. So I hope that helped. So those are the 5 people I'm looking at this week. Let me bounce out, see if I have any questions. And no questions. Okay, great. So we get out of here early today. Remember, go to acemethodcoaching.com. Play around with the chat bot a little bit. Click on the link and go to my Ace Coach GPT or whatever I called it. Ask your questions. Then email me. Tell me what you think. Okay? Yeah, I want to know. I know I've got an amazing tool here. I just don't know how to use it. So I want some advice. Okay? So that's it. Everybody have a good weekend. Remember, it's a good time to send me videos because it's slow this time of year. Okay? Best chance of getting a free review. All right. Have a good week. Coach Ace out.